This video is to show how to dismantle Hyundai Accent 2012 transaxle. The first is to remove the axle driveshaft. Remove transmission speed sensor. Remove reverse light switch. And the clutch slave cylinder. Next is the clutch release bearing and the release fork arm. Remove the inner bolt holding the center case to the clutch housing. Remove the center case cover. Remove the C-lock pin to release the fifth shift fork from the shifting rails. Now remove the lock nut. Remove shift fork with the guide sleeve and the engaging sleeve for speed gear number 5. Remove synchronizer ring for speed gear number 5. Remove the fifth speed gear. Next is the bearing and the bearing sleeve. Remove the retaining ring to take out the fifth gear. Remove the outer bolt holding center case to the clutch housing. Remove Deaton plunger for third gear and fourth gear fork rails. Remove Deaton plunger for reverse gear and fifth gear fork rails. Next is the Deaton plunger for first gear and second gear fork rails. Proceed to remove the reverse idler gear shaft bolt. Disconnect gear shift control mechanism to the center case. Now separate the center case from the clutch housing. Remove the oil channel from the center case. Remove the reverse idler gear and the reverse idler gear shaft from the clutch housing. Now remove the fork shift rails for reverse gear and fifth gear. Remove gear shift control shaft holder and reverse fork assembly. Remove the input shaft bearing retainer from the clutch housing. Now shift to second gear to allow clearance to remove the tapered screw bolt. Now for the main parts of the transaxle. The input and the output shaft must remove as a set. Shake the input and the output shaft while pulling up the set. Now take out the differential assembly. Proceed to disassemble gears of the output shaft. Remove gear number 4 with the rear output shaft bearing. Remove speed gear number 2 with gear number 4 from the output shaft. Rear output shaft bearing. Gear number 4. Gear number 3. Speed gear number 2. Synchronizing cone for speed gear number 2. Synchronizer ring for speed gear number 2. Remove engaging ring strut Deaton for speed gear number 1 and 2. This is a reverse gear, engaging sleeve for speed gear number 1 and 2. When removing the speed gear number 1 to the output shaft, make sure not to give pressure on the gear side to avoid damage to the gear. Now remove speed gear number 1, guide sleeve for speed gear number 1 and 2, together with the bearing sleeve for speed gear number 2. Now remove the output shaft bearing. Remove the retaining ring of the input shaft bearing. Remove the retaining ring of the rear input shaft bearing. And now remove the rear input shaft bearing. Remember this washer, secure in a safe place. Speed gear number 4. Synchronizer ring for speed gear number 4. Remove strut detent. Now remove the engaging sleeve for speed gear number 3 and 4. Now remove the speed gear number 3 guide sleeve for speed gear number 3 and 4, together with the bearing sleeve for speed gear number 4. Bearing sleeve for speed gear number 4. Guide sleeve for speed gear number 3 and 4. Synchronizer ring in the speed gear number 3. Now remove the input shaft bearing. On the clutch housing, remove the output shaft front bearing housing. Remove the oil guide. On the center case, remove the rear output shaft bearing housing. Remember that on the center case, the output shaft rear bearing side is having a washer. Now remove the axle seal. Hope this video will help. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.